Hello and welcome back to the Gold Newsletter channel. My name is Kai Hoffmann, I'm the JR Mining Guy on Twitter, and together with Brien Lundin, I'm your host of the Gold Newsletter channel, and I'm really looking forward to another company update from Pan Global Resources. The company is a copper, gold, tin explorer down in Spain in the Iberian Pyrite Belt, a company we work closely with and we have close tabs on because we really like what they're doing, and we're also closely working with them, keep that in mind. But the company is working on a Bravo target, which is highly anticipated. It hasn't been drilled yet. They've done a bit of basic exploration on it, let's call it that. Some soil geochemistry and some other ground exploration work. And I'm really looking forward to getting an update from the president and CEO, Tim Moody, on where they're at defining a drill target and why the Bravo target is such a high priority for them. Before I switch over, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us out tremendously, bringing companies on this channel and to get some updates out for you as well. Now, without much further ado, Tim, it is great to see you again, and welcome back on the Gold Newsletter.
Yeah, good to see you, Kai.
Looking forward to this update conversation. Like, we briefly chatted here for a second, and lots to talk about, Tim, on the Bravo target. But before we dive in, we might have a few new subscribers and followers here. Can you run us down, give us a 60-second overview of who's Pan Global Resources?
Yeah, so Pan Global Resource, we're primarily a copper exploration company. We're listed in Canada on the Ventures Exchange, but also have secondary listings in the US and also in Frankfurt. As I say, primarily focused on copper exploration. We have an advanced copper discovery in the Iberian Pyrite Belt in southern Spain, and we have this expanding pipeline of other opportunities in various parts of Spain, but mainly focused in the Iberian Pyrite Belt.
No, fantastic. Thanks for that introduction, Tim, and catching us up here. That bust I saw just behind you, is that made out of pure copper?
Yeah, that's something from an antique shop.
Is it out of copper?
No, it's not actually.
Okay, it just looks like it on the screen here. So
it's copper colored, which adds to the appeal.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why I noticed it, and it's not blurred out by the software as well. That's why it's standing out there, and it's good to look at when we talk about copper, having that copper bust behind you there, Tim. Let's dive right in, Tim. You're actively working in Spain, obviously on the ground. Bravo is the name of the target that you're exploring. It's a high priority target for you. Let's explain a little bit why is it such a high priority for you.
Yes, so Bravo was identified as a large gravity anomaly. It's quite a prominent gravity anomaly. You can see it on the screen there. It's just about a kilometre and a half east of Laman. Laman is our advanced copper discovery. We have 183 drill holes in that now. It was discovered by drilling a gravity anomaly, and many other discoveries in this area have been made by drilling gravity anomalies, including Las Cruces, just 12 kilometres to the east, including Los Frailes, massive sulfide deposit, 6 or 8 kilometres to the northeast of us, and many others. So, having a big gravity anomaly just to the east of Laman, undrilled, untested, beneath what looks to be post mineral cover, makes this a very attractive target. It sits in a straight line between Laman and Asnocoya, which is one of the giant, massive sulfide deposits. It's one of that's in the area that's now held by Grupo Mexico, fourth or fifth largest copper producer. They're anticipating commencing construction on that once they receive the final permit, which shouldn't be too far away. So, great location, very big, very prominent gravity anomaly in just to the east of our main flagship discovery.
Yeah, fantastic. You've been gung-ho on the project. You've only gotten access to it about 3-4 weeks ago, and you were right on the ground. What were some of the first steps? I think you've done some soil geochemistry surveys, and I'm not good with my technical English today. I have to apologize, but I had the press release open. So soil geochemistry and gravity, that's what the word I was looking for. That's the one that escaped me that you've done so far. What are the results telling you so far?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the target was identified from gravity data. It was a gravity anomaly. This was early 1980s survey information that we used. It was the same data we used to identify the Laramana target. So that's quite coarse gravity data. So our plan was to, once we got the access a couple of weeks ago, was to firstly cover that with a more detailed gravity survey, 100 metre by 50 metre, about 600 stations thereabouts, and then also cover it with soil geochemistry. We saw to the west at Laramana that there was a geochemical expression in the post-mineral cover over the top of Laramana. So we thought we'll give that a shot at Bravo as well. So we are halfway through the survey soil geochemistry program. We saw a soil lead zinc anomaly, very coherent over kilometre. Kilometre and a half by results at this early stage in the survey. Concurrent with the soil geochemistry program, we have this gravity program. That's probably nearing completion now. The soil geochemistry program has also expanded since we put out the results a week or two ago, and we've nearly completed the initial planned survey area. So I expect within a couple of weeks or so we should have the next output of results with the more complete soil geochemistry and the results of the detailed gravity surveying that we've been doing as well. So
you might see it on the screen here, but if I'm showing some of the results you put out with the last press release of the soil geochemistry results. Like, how similar is it to Laramana results? Like, how confident are you that it's a similar system here?
Yes, well, there's both copper, lead, and zinc anomalies in the soil geochemistry over Laramana. What we're seeing, of course, at Laramana, we have some copper sticking out of the ground in a couple of areas. So we know it comes to surface in a couple of places. That's in contrast to Bravo, where we don't have any rock sticking out of the ground at all. So we don't know what the cover thickness is here. But we have a very, as you can see on this map, the figure on the far right is that a sort of combined lead-zinc anomaly, very coherent in the sampling so far. That's bigger than the lead-zinc anomaly and stronger than we see over Laramana. Yes, Laramana is more copper, but lead-zinc is perhaps a better indicator in the oxide, sort of more weathered part of a sequence. Seems to be it's a good indicator of potential for mineralisation beneath it. But what was really encouraging, Kai, was to see the position of that soil geochemistry anomaly in relation to the gravity target. We could have got no geochemistry response given that it's younger post-mineral cover. But we were pleasantly surprised seeing the scale and how coherent the anomaly is and its position relative to the gravity feature.
Like, when I look at the results here, Tim, and I'm definitely not an expert when it comes to geology, but it looks like it is like when you look at towards the north, the mineralization sort of decreases, right? Is that just because the cover is thicker? Is it dipping that way, or what does that look like? What does that indicate?
Yes, so the small black dots, so the eastern half of the geochemistry, we haven't sampled it. Those are planned sample positions. So what I can say is that the sampling is now completed over much of that eastern half and extended to the south. And we're seeing the anomaly continue. So, of course, we don't know what's causing that anomaly at this stage. What we're hoping is that it's reflecting underlying mineralisation beneath the cover. So, so it may not be weakening, but it's certainly continuing based on what we're seeing in the preliminary results of the ongoing survey.
Tim, run us a bit through the process on how close you are to define a drill target here. Like, run us a bit through the process to get to that drill target definition stage and where you feel confident, okay, this is where I'm going to put the drill. Like, what kind of steps are still missing?
Yeah. So within the next 2 weeks, we will have completed the planned soil geochemistry and gravity surveys over the Bravo target. We will actually, on the basis of the results we've got so far, look to expand that survey in all directions, actually, east, west, north, south, etc., to give us a better coverage on the area. But look, within about 2 weeks, we should have completed the planned surveys. We'll then, using that information, look to put a couple of lines of IP. That's induced polarization. So we put electrical currents into the ground and try and light up any sulfide minerals that might be sitting there underneath the post mineral cover that's giving rise to this geochemistry anomaly. So and then we'll use that electrical geophysics and the other information to help position the drill holes. So we could be ready perhaps in as soon as a month to start looking at positioning the first drill holes.
Oh, fantastic. Interesting. Here, let me share the screen again, because I really like this map that you share in the presentation on slide 7. And I think I've asked you that before, Tim, but do you think La Romana and Bravo are connected here, where my mouse is roughly? Do you think there's a connection?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't drilled all the way in between La Romana and Bravo, but what we can see based on the drilling we have done is that the geology seems to continue in that direction. The same geology that hosts the La Romana deposit seems to continue to the east in the direction of Bravo, and with all of the rocks sort of dipping or tilting to the north. Our hope is that the gravity anomaly could reflect massive sulfide mineralization in the same geology as we're hosting that hosts the La Romana deposit. So that's the concept. Obviously we'll have to drill it eventually to test that, but it's certainly lining up very well at the moment.
No, fantastic. I like that. It's like I always like that blue sky potential, and that one drill hole, if you connect it, will be phenomenal. If you connect La Romana and Bravo, boom, Bob's your uncle, right?
That's
absolutely fantastic. Tim, we got to talk about the darker side of the business as well, and that's capital markets. It's the sadder part of our conversation probably here a little bit, looking at the share price performance, but also knowing that we're in the midst of summer. Like I was just telling you before we hit the record button, I was looking at press releases this morning, and there were barely any coming out. So it just tells me everybody's away, everybody's at their cabin or at the lake house or wherever they spent their summers, and not much is going on. Like, how indicative is the current share price of that and of what you guys are doing? Like, how frustrated are you, maybe?
Well, I guess to say I'm very frustrated would be an understatement, I guess, at this point. I mean, the share price, I don't think, reflects anywhere near the value that we've created. We're back at prices that we were at, I guess, soon after we put the first discovery holes into La Romana. Since then, we've grown the deposit. It's expanding, still open, and we've made another discovery at Kenyatta Honda, and we've got this sort of fabulous suite of other targets. Bravo is just one of the many. So I'm really at a loss as to why we've seen, in our case, the decline in the share price that we've seen. I think part of that has been, a large part of it, I think, is things outside of our control. I guess we saw the slide, like with many of our peers, start to occur about 2 years ago, around the time the Ukraine war commenced, etc. But in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I guess there's been some other things going on. The Japanese, increasing interest rates, the talks of a recession in the US. I don't believe that will happen, but anyway, that's been part of it. And then you've seen copper prices come off, and demand from China over the last few months also weakened. So I think all of those things, which are outside of our control, are playing into the general sentiment. And I think there's a lot of people sort of sitting on the fence, perhaps others getting frustrated with the whole sector, whatever it is. But when we look across the peers that we've been following, so the 18 or 20 other companies, we're seeing a similar pattern right across the board. So it's very, very frustrating for us. We're certainly trying and looking at all sorts of ways to try and address that. But when you're putting out good news and you're not getting a response, that tells you this is a pretty tough market.
I was just going to ask you, like, throwing up the chart here as well. One thing I've noticed the last few days, that volume has actually increased. Sadly, to the downside, of course. But is there a bigger seller in the market that just wants to get out? Like, the trading behavior does not make any sense. Like, can you make sense and rhyme of it?
No, not really. I mean, you can hypothesize what might be driving it. I guess some of the decline did coincide with the Japanese interest rates, and there was a bit of a fall for some of the other companies. We saw that there was quite a big trade or big volume trade last week. It looks like there was a cross there somewhere, but we've been unable to find out who was involved with that, where it came from. I guess in time we may get some more information on that. Beyond that, I don't know. Is this broker activity or something trying to move the price? I don't know. It's very hard to tell. We've got money in the bank. We're not looking to raise money at these prices. We've got a great set of targets, as I say, and plenty of good results to come. So, I don't really understand it. Doesn't make sense with the quality of the project we've got. There's certainly, I think once things start to turn around, I don't think you'll see this price again. So, it's a buyer's opportunity, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%, Tim. 100%. How much cash do you have? Do you actually have left? Like, let's stay on that.
Yeah, we had somewhere between 2 and 3 million. We've got a little bit more money to come out from the last drilling, but we're a pretty low cost operator. Things slow down in summer. We typically turn the rig off for a month in August when it's super hot and most of Spain goes on holiday. So, but we'll look to get the rigs back sometime in September. So we should be right with the money we've got, the spending rate we're doing to get us through to sort of February, March with one rig. But we can go longer if we really want to stretch things out if the market becomes more challenging. But we're in the business of finding stuff, and we'll keep going. So yeah.
I was going to say, maybe an unfair question, Tim, because I know you're quite excited about Bravo, but
yes.
Have you ever thought about just sticking your head in the sand, just waiting it out, and maybe just come back in Q1, Q2, 2025 and see where the markets are at? And just, say it's like, hey, the market doesn't reward what we're doing. Screw it. We're not going to do any work. We know what we got. The rocks ain't going anywhere. We'll be back when the markets are better. Have you thought about that?
Well, I think we've been, like many of the juniors at the moment, have perhaps not going at the pace they'd like to go. In this market, being really judicious with their funding, and that's what we're trying. That's what we've been doing. We're a low cost operator anyway, but we've been drilling non-stop for 3 or 4 years. I'd love to have 4 or 5 or 6 drill rigs turning today, but now's not the time to be doing that until we start to see the market turn around. But we realise we want to keep investor interest there, and one way to do that is keep the rigs turning and keep churning out exploration results, and that's what we're doing. We've got some more results to post, probably sometime in early September from the last drilling we've done, and we've got a lot of other results to come, not only from the Bravo target, but also the other project we've got up in northern Spain, which I think we've spoken about before, the Carmenes project. That's a really exciting target. This is the sort of thing that could really produce a head-turning drill result when we get up there and drill up in that target. So I think we've got plenty of good news to come over the next few months. There's a lot of really exciting exploration going on. So I think there's plenty of reasons for people to be following Pan Global and really looking hard at the quality of what we have in our portfolio.
Oh, 100%, Tim. I fully agree. I keep referring to junior mining companies or junior exploration companies like sharks, because if you stop swimming, you'll die, right? Yeah. So that's sort of my reference there, and it makes a lot of sense. So maybe to summarize our conversation here a little bit, Tim, next news items, you mentioned a few points, like, of course, some more results from Bravo, from the soil geochemistry analysis here, but La Romana extension drilling, is there more in the pipeline now?
Yes, for sure. I mean, what I can say is the last drilling we did on the western extension of La Romana is continuing to hit some nice grade mineralisation. It's showing that the copper is very much open at shallow depths, trending off to the west. So yeah, we're going to need to continue drilling out that way. And as we've discussed before, we're trying to delineate the deposit before we come out with a resource. But I should also say that some of the other work we've been doing, we've clearly identified a couple of other areas down dip where we think there's good potential to grow the deposit. It could be material increase in size down dip in a couple of areas as well. Again, not that deep, but certainly down dip from where we've been drilling. So Laman is wide open as it stands today.
No, fantastic. Maybe you could sequence it out for us, like sort of the next press release. I'm sure you have have it mapped out a bit. Yeah. Like, what do you expect the sequence to be? Of course, we're in mining; everything could be changed tomorrow. But yes. In an ideal world, how would you sequence it right now?
Yeah, I think it's most likely going to be some more of the exploration results from Bravo, just because that's going so quickly, and everything seems to be lining up, as better than expected, really, as well as anyone could wish at this point. So I think that's probably one of the first ones. We've got a lot of results from the soil geochemistry mapping and sampling we've been doing up at the Carmenes project. I think that will be, again, probably 2 to 4 weeks away. And then we've got the drill results from the last drill results, which, again, we're looking at sometime early September. So I think those are the three sort of main areas to look at, but we'll have other news, I'm sure, to follow that.
No, fantastic. Tim, thank you so much for your time and fantastic update as always. I'm really excited about Bravo. Can't wait for you to put the first drill rig actually on the Bravo target. And I forgot to ask you, like, what's the timeline? Like, when is that going to happen?
Yeah, well, look, as say, I think we'll be in a pretty close to being ready to position a drill hole in about a month or so. The way things are going, that's well ahead of what we expected. So, yeah, that could be the earliest, I imagine. Whether we get the rig on the ground in a month is another point. But yeah, I could see a drill rig on the ground at Bravo sometime in September.
Phenomenal. Tim, I'm excited. I know you are as well. Like I could tell, obviously. So let's get it going. Let's keep it, or let's stay active. Let's keep on drilling, and really looking forward to seeing those results, Tim. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Gold Newsletter, and everybody else. Thank you so much for tuning in here to the Gold Newsletter. A fantastic update yet again from Pan Global Resources. They're exploring in the Iberian Pirate Belt. You should take a closer look at it. We're quite conflicted, obviously. Make sure to read the disclaimer, but I'm quite excited about what they're doing, and I think 12.5 cents is an absolute bargain. I will be taking a very close look at the trading behavior here in the next few days, and curious to see when that flush out stops in the stock, where it will bounce back to. So really looking forward to that. The company has got fantastic news coming out. You just heard it, which will solidify the share price and hopefully push it higher. It deserves to be trading much higher as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back with lots more here on the Gold Newsletter channel. Bye for now.